Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth, and this is just a brief overview of the study conducted by Olson et al., Gender in Children. So, the goal of this study was to compare the implicit and explicit preferences of gender variant children and contrast them to the responses of non gender variant children. And so, they utilized 12 natal males and 20 natal males, I'm sorry, and 12 natal females, in contrast to 24 natal boys and 26 natal females. And a very interesting thing in this study was that they utilized some of the experimental group's siblings. So there is a little bit of question there as far as how much bias um, is present with the siblings um, being a part of this study. So, was the study executed well? So, there were significant disruptions presented in this study. Some participants failed to complete tests due to the inability to read due to age. There were also scheduling issues. Some participants did part of the tests, others did not. So, there's a little bit of issues with that. While missing data was noted, so the researchers did write and note that they did not really highlight how those missing data points affected the study overall. So viable questions also presented in that aspect are if the participants are incapable of basic reading skills, is it ethical to question them concerning weighty life altering topics such as gender, which will affect them the rest of their life, right? So that's just a consideration to take as far as this topic. So primary findings was what was the primary finding of the study? So primary findings by Olson et al. Indicate that gender variant children present implicit and explicit preferences matching those of children of the opposite sex, thus implicating that gender variant girls have greater commonality with a typical boy and a gender variant boy with a typical girl. So, the implicit and explicit preferences and gender identifying markers, they say, are right in line. So, a boy who is transgender will have the same preferences or implicit, explicit preferences as a girl. And that is the explanation that they provide. So, um, are these findings valid? The study findings. One thing that did stand out to me was rationalism used? Was the method to this based on a premise and conclusion type of analysis? To present some reaching, if a female that prefers a toy truck or things that boys like, therefore indicates or supports her desire to be a boy. That would kind of imply that rationalism is being used. Methodology attempted to use implicit and explicit measures to derive a conclusion. However, some of the participants did not complete the measures, and we don't know how that could have possibly affected the study. Then the sample. So the group that was used was from a support group for transgendered families. Even the control participants that were used were from the same pool. And then again, there was a small sample size in the experimental group. So no random sampling was utilized. So we don't really know if generalization can be applied to this. Can we conclude that the children from this study group adequately represent the general population? So questions concerning external validity and internal validity are definitely at play. And then, like I said, with internal validity, could there possibly be any other cause behind the children's gender variance? And that was not something that was explored in this study, but definitely a question to ask. Thank you so much for your time.